Okay, let's try that again. Take two. G'day, viewers. I'm having a good start to the day. I went out to a 9-year-old's birthday party yesterday instead of preparing for the stream, but that's okay. Sigh. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, news-wise, I get a little logo, but I'm not going to use it today because we're not doing a DTG game. I have joined the ambassadors, but today we are doing RUN8. I've had some trouble getting this to actually work today, to be honest with you. It was refusing to draw these funny little steel things down here, which are kind of useful. Now, as always, we have Michael on the disembodied voice. Oh, I just saw his comment that says I'm muttered. Probably muted. Hopefully your chat will come through, Michael. So, we are running RUN8, version 3. And it's different. So I'm kind of hoping this is going to go well. I couldn't get an Amtrak loco to spawn this morning, and before that I had no track. So
Hello.
To do some demonstrating, we're going to be using a SD70 ACE and another SD70 ACE in Norfolk Southern, and we're pulling the Amtrak stock. Now if we just wander along these, you can see that the SD70s are actually rendering quite nicely. I think there is definitely improvement in the loco models in version 3. There is an improvement in the environment, that's for sure. But there's lots of things that I don't remember being rendered in the old one. And then we get into the abstract stuff, which, to be honest with you, well, it's kind of what? Flat? Oh well. It's okay, we won't look at the Amtrak stuff. It's just a train, we're just dragging it. So we are in San Bernardino right now. And I thought I'd show you some stuff. Michael tells me in the chat that there's a very heavy delay, and that is certainly possible. Whoops, I've gone into a building. That is certainly possible. But let's just have a quick look at things. So we have got a brand new menu. It used to be, let me just tell my phone to be quiet. Okay, here we go. We have a, the other one's died. This is going well today. I don't want a trial, just do it. Thank you. Sigh. Sigh. It's all good. It's okay. We'll get there. It's a Sunday. Saturday for a lot of you. Get back on your damn charger. Okay. I'll just pretend none of that happened. Chicago's Railroad Vids and Photographies. Is this route in California? Yes, it is. Hello. We're in San Bernardino, which is in the bottom half of the state, in the dry and boring bit, as I like to call it. But anyway, we have brand new menu. So in the old RUN8, pressing F1 used to bring up a menu which had everything in it, all of your config and everything else. Now it's just the ability to load up other stock. So we'll be careful with that because I don't want to lose my track. And Michael says there's a long delay before he's heard on the stream. And normally is about 20 seconds. You may not have ever noticed that, but there is. That's okay. Right. Menus. So you just, like most games now, you just pop your mouse up in the top left-hand corner and you get a menu. So there's all the usual sorts of stuff in here. We have a new consist menu, which is kind of cool because you can put consists in and out when you're live. You could do that before, but it was a bit of a pain in the butt. So this is better. You've got the things that you need to play when you're playing multiplayer, your track bulletins and your switch list. You can also use the switch list for when you have built yourself a nice shunting thing. I'm kind of sad because, hello Aiden, I'm kind of sad because all those favorite sessions and stuff I built up in V2 didn't come over. Now I don't know if I can just mangle them in here somehow, but we'll do that one day. And there's various other options that used to be in the main menu, and they're all on this menu now. It's a little bit, I don't know, maybe not well thought out. I'm sure that'll come, because this is the first time they've tried to do some kind of menu for this. We have all our usual audio options, the usual graphic options and bits and pieces. It all works the same way it did before. The train controls are pretty much the way they used to be before. A lot of these things, I think, were controlled by one drop down where you selected from Foamer or Piglet or Hog. And they're not quite the same anymore. You get to turn them all on and off individually. I think you could turn them on and off individually before. You do now get weather, which is kind of cool. So you can have rain on your windscreen. Now, one thing I haven't quite figured out how to find is windscreen wipers. Now, I'm just having a look at my key commands because I printed out a new one. But I just realised that the one I just printed out is in fact the V2 version, which isn't very useful. That's okay. So finally, weather. How cool is that? And you can have automatic weather and it changes as you drive, which is kind of cool. Mind you, it's California, so it will rain once in 1,000 years. Train-wise, there's new controls for derailing and re-railing. So if you manage to derail somewhere, it's not the end of the world anymore. You can in fact put your train back onto the tracks, and you can either do it by putting re-railing frogs under the wheels, which I won't do at the moment because I don't want to tempt fate, but because we're not derailed and I don't want to make something bad happen. Or you can just say put it back on the tracks and it does. So it's kind of cool. Now, you'll notice all these locos are quiet. I haven't started them yet, which is a nice thing. I like coming into the game with the locos dead, but the reality is different. If they were sitting in a station like this, about to haul an Amtrak train, they wouldn't be shut down because Americans just leave their locos running forever. They start them when they buy them, and they never seem to turn them off. I know this because having stayed at a hotel in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest and thought, this is a nice peaceful hotel in the middle of nowhere. This is going to be a good night's sleep. And then the SD70s turned up outside going boom, 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 boom. They turned up at 1 a.m. and they sat there till 6 a.m. And at 6 a.m. they spooled up and left. Awesome. They didn't even have crews in them because I went outside and climbed into them and looked at them and took photos. And the doors were open and everything. But there you go. That's all fun. I'm sure they don't do it that way anymore because the terrorism police would get them. Okay, now the next interesting thing is the new consist menu. So this makes it a bit easier to put trains in. Now, I managed to get this one the right way round, but one thing I haven't figured out is once you place a train, how do you turn it around so it goes the other way? That's an interesting question. But what I do want to do, I want to, actually, before we do this, let me just move over here because I'm going to put it on the wrong track if I don't, and then life will just get confusing. Let's put it over here. I want to show you the cool toy. Now, I'm not going to drive this thing until, well, if we get bored for the Amtrak, we'll drive that. You'll just notice there's a train has spawned in somewhere, which is good because I can show you the auto dispatcher then. Oops, wrong menu. Let's put on an other, and we want to put on a high rail. And let's get rid of all of this. Clear. And add a high rail. And I want to place the high rail. Dunk. This thing is drivable. It actually runs. Now, it's a little bit... Yep, free agent train. Good. No one's on it. It's a little bit... Can you unselect it? Yep, good. It's a little bit of a strange one to drive. It uses just the forward reverser on the rail driver. And it takes forever to speed up and it takes forever to slow down. So plan it out, because coming across that red signal by surprise is not going to work well for you.
Cool.
Ask me how I know this. All right, let's start some locomotives. And we're going to cheat. Now, while the locos are starting up and doing their thing, they'll take a little while. you'll notice down here the train symbol.
Because you've done it.
Yeah. You'll notice down here the train symbol. In this case, ASBDBAK9-01. You need to put train symbols in now if you're going to use Otto, the auto dispatcher. Because if you don't, Otto doesn't know where you're going. So if we just have a look at the complexity, so we're running in California, we're using the BNSF train train symbols, even though this is actually an Amtrak train, but that's fine, it understands Amtrak. So it's basically the type of train. So use these descriptive designations for your first character. Oh, my first spammer! Okay, well, let's just put you in timeout. And let's remove your shit. Cool. It's going to be a good day. We've had our first spammer already, and how many minutes are we in? 11. Then you put in your originator. So in this case, it's San Bernardino, which is SBD, and there's a great big list of originations or places where you're going to go to. And then you put in your destination, which I don't think we'll actually make Bakersfield today because this is like a 4-hour drive, but I want to head up that way. I don't know if we'll actually make it out as far as the loop, but I wanted to start in a station. I thought that was important. But anyway. And then you have your train priority. So we are a passenger train, so we're the highest. We are a 9. In reality, we probably aren't actually that high. Officially, the freight railroads have to put Amtrak ahead of everything else. According to drivers I know, or I should say engineers, they're American, reality is quite different. But anyway, so this site will be really handy if you're running RUN8. So let's just drop that in here. I'll get rid of that now. Now, other stuff that's really, really, really handy, and I can't say I've read all this stuff yet because I only got it a couple of days ago, working my way through it. You get this huge number of PDF manuals which tell you how to do things, which is kind of handy. And let me just grab that file because I'm going to need that. But we have some important ones like the auto dispatcher. You can set your own server up if you want to. As long as you know how to make your firewall rules work, you'll need that. There's a whole lot of other things. So locomotive failures is new in here. Manned helpers is new in here. So you can have multiplayer in the helpers instead of just using DPUs, which is kind of cool. And you can mess around with lots and lots and lots of things. So, and this file is probably the most important one. This is the V3 important changes. I'm not going to go through the whole lot, but you know, there's a lot. So they've made a lot of changes. So if we just have a really quick look, they've changed the way that you load things, yes. There's Otto, the automatic dispatcher, which I'll show you in a moment. In the dispatch screens, it works a little bit differently. Now, I have both. I use the internal dispatcher in RUN8 when I'm playing on my own, but I also have the external dispatcher because when you're streaming, running this thing with multiple monitors...
11 pages worth.
Yes, running this thing with multiple monitors is not something OBS copes with terribly well, so I don't. They have lots and lots of other things, so you can derail stuff, you can overheat things, your locomotives can die, which is kind of cool. If you thrash them beyond their limits, they will break. They also break randomly. EOT is modeled a little differently now. Before you just put it there, it just worked. Now you have to open up the angle cock to have that actually working for you, which is cool. I haven't seen an airflow gauge yet because I haven't driven an SD40 or anything, but in theory, they now work. They now have turntables. They had humps before, so they've changed those a little bit. I haven't tried a turntable yet. We'll get there one day. There are now shadows, which is kind of cool. So I won't go through the rest of it because there's a lot and we'd be here forever. So let's just put that over there in case I need it for something and I can get to it. got my key bindings file open, just to give you an idea of the complexity of the key bindings in RUN8. Let's just say there's a lot. It's a little bit like, I don't know, a picture editing product that I use. I refuse to give them any kind of plug because while I like the product, it gives me the shits how much I have to pay for it. So they're not getting a plug because they're annoying. But in RUN8, if you type a random set of keyboard commands, it'll do stuff. Alright, let's try and get into this loco if I can remember how to do it. Oh, look at that, first time. Alright, now let's turn on. Actually, we don't want to do that yet because I want to turn on auto. Auto is the dispatcher. So it's just telling me it's enabled everything, and we're now getting some more trains popping in. And I think I've got the external dispatcher running somewhere. I can't find it. I thought I had the external dispatcher running. I wonder if it's under the game. Well, we're doing very professionally here today. There he is. I've probably got 2 copies of this running now. But anyway, right now we are at San Bernardino. And you'll notice we haven't even shown up on the screen yet. The external dispatcher is having a little bit of trouble talking to V3. Mostly it's working. And we are going to be heading up to Tetrahappy. So we're going to go all the way along there and all the way along there. Now, like I said, I don't think we'll actually make that today. This is our eventual destination, the Amtrak platform at Bakersfield. But like I said, that's a 4-hour drive. We are doing that. Well, maybe we are. Probably not. Looks like automatic dispatchers started to wake up already, even though I haven't turned it on yet, because... What did I? I did. Yes, so trains have started to move here and there. That's cool. So we'll have some random crosses around the place that we have to deal with. Also cool. And you'll notice it's already starting to set up routes, which is good. Now let me just put the dispatcher over here, because I'm going to need him at some point, because I need to see what's going on in the route, so I can see where I'm going. Alright, back to the script. So, next thing to do is tell the dispatcher, hey, we want to go. So I want to tone the dispatcher. And I want to tell him 2 things. When he responds, so we're just waiting for the dispatcher to talk to me. Ooh, I didn't notice the in-cab signalling had started working. That's new. I want to request mainline authority for my first thing. Now, one cool thing about these displays in RUN8, all these things actually work, unlike another train game that I often play, where they don't. I think we are already set up to actually run. We should be okay there. Let's put some headlights on. Into forwards. We have had a mainline authority granted, and I won't request a signal yet because we haven't got one here. Next thing is the handbrake I have to get rid of. Alright. And brakes off. And away we go. This is going way too smoothly. Now you've got to remember it is RUN8, so it would be very tempting to just smash this thing into not shape. We're obviously not a very heavy train because we're picking up speed pretty quickly, and we are probably speeding by now. Let's kill that bell. I think we're allowed to up to about 20 mile an hour in this yard, if I remember rightly. Let's just have a look at our HUD. Why can't I look at our HUD? That wrong key, that's why. Okay, and we are 30. Okay, we're allowed to do 30. So if you haven't met RUN8 before, you've got the different HUDs. So this one tells us about the gradient that we are currently on. I'm not too fussed about watching out the window right now. Although you'll notice, look, shadows. We have got our gradient, previous signal, the next signal, how far away it is, current train and track speed. And you have game bits. It did pick up my rank from the old game, and it picked up the roots from the old game, but it mangled them a little bit. That's why they're not quite working. I'm hoping to resolve that. Alright, now let's just throttle off because I need to ask for a signal, because I don't have one right now. As you'll notice, it's red. So I've started stopping in case he doesn't give it to me, because he might not. Oh, there we go. We have got the signal. Just wait till the brakes come off before I accelerate again, because this is run 8 and I'll pull my couplers off if I don't. Just waiting for the brake flow to calm down a little bit. It's pretty low now. We can probably safely start to accelerate. Now, in theory, that should be setting me up to run, because it should have read my train tag and it should have routed me to Bakersfield. I hope. We'll see, won't we? Does look promising down. That might be another red one down there. We'll see. But anyway, all good. Oh, some other things. They've been watching TSW2. You can open the windows. But if you open them, I haven't found a way to close them. I'm sure you can, but I haven't found a way. You can even open the doors now. Can't do much else. The rest of the loco is pretty flat. To give you a clue of which things click and which things don't click, if it looks vaguely three-dimensional, they click. Otherwise, they do not. Mostly. Alright, back with our HUDs. So we're looking at the train HUD at the moment, which is giving us an idea of all of our brake pipes and forces and things like that that are happening in the train. And if we move on to the next one, this tells us a little bit more about the train. So we are the San Bernardino to Bakersfield. We're priority 9 and day 01. And we're an Amtrak train. Oop, it is working. Look, that signal just went green. Yay! And we have an HPT of 10.2, which is more than enough to get up the grade. I think we need something like 3 to get up to happy grade. It's horsepower per ton, if you're wondering. And it'd be nice if this came into the American Freight in some of the other games, because this is how you should decide how many locos you've got, or how many locos you need, and you should be free, I think, at least in an advanced mode in a train simulator, to go, okay, I don't have enough HPT, I need to add another loco, and then race off to your loco area and grab one and put it on your train. That would be really cool. We are 883 tons, which is Mickey Mouse for an American train. Ah, the alerter. You can't turn that off, because this is run 8, everything's hard. And we have 10 loaded cars. So let's just go back to the one that shows us... Oh yeah, there's a couple of forces, which right now is pretty much nothing. So we've got 2 locos and a train, and it's showing us all clear. But if I were to... We should see this change colour. Yeah, see how it's, oops, starting to go yellow? We're pulling fairly hard on it now. But with this light train, it's really not going to matter. So you can see our 1,000 pounds, kilopounds going up. It's weird that it's kilopounds. It's like metric pounds. What? That doesn't work. But we are now speeding, so I'll just calm this down just a little bit. And we'll go back to the other HUD. This is the one I want. If I was running a freight train, yes, I know I'm speeding. We'll just live with it. If I was running a full-on freight train, we would look after everything a little bit better, but I'm not. And I've kind of done this deliberately because I don't want to break it while I'm showing it off. Now, if we have a look outside, there are some new cameras. Just got to figure out how to do this. There's a new free fly, which is... Shift F12. There we go. So you can now fly away and fly alongside your train, which is kind of cool. And we can crash into cars. You notice there are cars on the freeway now? You have random car spawners. If you have a high enough NPC, you can turn it on. And look, moving shadows. Actual shadows. This is kind of cool. I think I'm unable to keep up with my train, but that's okay. Distant scenery looks kind of nice, but I think it did in the older versions. But the near scenery, like the town here, meh. Eh. But then again, you know, it's a hardcore train simulator game. It's not meant to be pretty. It'd be nice if it was pretty, but it's not. Oops, speed sign, what does that say? Passenger 70, we can ramp up. Excellent. Okay, let's get back in the cab and we can do that. And because it's run 8, we're going to be a bit gentle. Now I'm hoping we'll start to see some other trains. I'm just looking at the dispatcher screen on the other window. There's one that we're sort of following. So if I drag this over, we've got this one that's probably going to come into conflict with us at some point. Man, this guy's going on the main line, so we'll never see him. The other main line. And we, if I have a look at this thing, oops. Where is San Bernardino? There we are. We haven't even appeared. So we're in theory heading off up through here somewhere because we want to go that way. I haven't tried this. We'll know soon if it works. I normally like to try things beforehand, but, you know, can't disappoint the 9-year-old little girl. You go, oh, we really should go to this party. Yeah, I suppose so. That's life. Hello, Sophia, if you're watching. She could be. Maybe. So we can keep cruising along. Hopefully we will see some other trains, or this won't be a very exciting stream. I think I can spawn some in. I'd love to know why it doesn't show me on the dispatcher. That is the internal dispatcher, if I can remember how to do this. Where is it? Where is it? Maybe you can't turn it on after you've started. That's possible. Sorry, I just had to do the dispatcher there. Don't have some rain? Hopefully I can remember how to turn windscreen wipers on. Haha. Victory. Rain or snowy? Snowy in California. This could get exciting. It does look like snow, doesn't it? Oh, of course. Because we're in January. Of course it's snowy. Yellow over green. Safe enough. You can change your field of view. Oh, this is something I think's new, by the way. Why have I got a light on? Weird. You've got a mate. He's pretty creepy looking. He never ever turns and looks at you. Pay attention, Mr. Driver. Now, I probably don't need to slow down much because we're only doing 36 mile an hour, but I believe this is a diverge. So we're going to be changing tracks at some point. So I'll maintain my speed, I think. We are going up a fairly steep grade at the moment of 2%. And we have reached... Oh no! Hey look, 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 top left corner. It really does work. In-cab signalling. That's new. And very welcome. And we have snow actually falling outside the window now. That's cool. So yes, things are changing. There's no price to upgrade from V2 to V3. V3 is, as far as RUN8 Studios is concerned, a new game, so you get to buy it again. And full disclosure, I did. I think we're slowing down a bit too much, really. Let's grab another notch. I would have thought with 10 horsepower per tonne that we wouldn't really have any dramas on this grade, but there you go. We're in notch 6. I think it's a fairly long distance warning of the merge, but I want to be nice to my passengers and not jostle them. So up there we've got a red over a green, which means that's about where the switching point is probably. I'm just kind of hoping we're going the right way. And I kind of hope it'll derail somewhere, but I also kind of hope it won't, because I want to show you putting it back on. Oh, that's new, yes. The detectors, that one didn't talk. They normally do. That might have been a detector for another train, perhaps. The detectors can now actually randomly give you defects, and you'll have to set a car out. Very cool. So I don't know how Otto the dispatcher will cope with that. Just looking at dispatch screen on the other monitor, and those trains are moving. Yeah. Looks like it's gonna, the dispatcher's gonna let that UP train out in front of us, which is not surprising because it's about 20 miles from us. And I think we are kind of heading the right way, but I've just got to keep an eye on the place names. And hopefully, we are. We'll see. Red over green. The, hello Jonah. The rail driver only works in RUN8 if the focus is on the RUN8 window, which makes me think that in this game they do actually convert the rail driver to keyboard commands. At least the buttons. I had some other news. I'm making a thing. I have ordered a keyboard controller and some buttons and some wires and a box, and I'm making a thing. I'm making a controller that will be usable in TSW2 and TS. Probably work in this too, because it'll have reprogrammable keyboard buttons, so that I can have things like PZB and the alerter and door controls on a box. With great big buttons, like they should be in a train. Yeah. Looks like running into a storm. So the clouds are changing, that's kind of cool. Now there is a head out view. We're trying to figure out how to get to that if I can. Engineer head out view, right, alt, down, arrow. Oh, crossing. far as I know, the gates still don't actually work in Run 8. They just sit there flashing down all the time. But I'm liking the weather. That's kind of cool. Especially after I figured out the actual... Well, I was wondering what was going on then. So, we can, in theory, look out... no. I thought there was a way to stick my head out the window. Right, alt, down, arrow. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Maybe you can't do that. What if it's the number pad one? No? You're meant to be able to stick your head out, but it doesn't seem to do what they say it does. Okay. That'd be a bug then. That's okay. Nice big industry on the left there. Doesn't look like there's any track going into it though, which is a bit sad for a train simulator. I guess that's the modern way though. Now the rear of our train should be through that diverge now, so I'll speed up. And I think we are heading the right way. And can't see the signs because they're facing the other way, which is fine. I do see some red signals up there somewhere. Could be quite a way away though, the way signal blooms work in Run 8. Look, we do have enough horsepower per tonne. Excellent. We're speeding up. Good to see. Yeah, the horns in Run 8 are... the default ones are a bit crap. You can actually replace them. I have not in V3 yet because I just haven't had time to play with it. I was hoping to have a whole day of prep yesterday, but life conspired to do some other things, and that's okay. Because life's like that at times. The locos sound nice, though. And I don't know if you noticed, but...
Detector, milepost 73.5, main 1, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
And it'll tell me my axle count shortly. I don't know if you noticed, but when I opened the windows, the train did get louder. Hey, look, it's still following us. That's a surprise. So we have green on our line. That's good. Is that a grade crossing? No, it's not. I couldn't quite read that sign. Unfortunately, I'm hoping. Could go back and have a look, I suppose. It's still an issue in Run 8 in that the signs are very, very hard to read from the cab. I think we are going the right way. I think Mr. Otto is being kind to us. Because I think we're heading into the mountains. It certainly feels and looks like we are. I just wish my train would turn up on the map. In fact, I think we have turned up on the map. And I think Mr. Otto sent us the wrong way. Oh well, we'll just drive then. So I think this green one might be us. VNSF 9155, because we're doing 48 miles an hour, so that's probably us. Might want to press the alerter button before that dumps the air. So where does this track that we're on go? Yeah, okay. We're going to Needles. Which is a little bit unfortunate because when I went to Needles before I didn't have any track. Okay. So despite all my train tags, it looks like Mr. Otto has routed us some random way that has not actually taken us where I wanted to go. Hello, Shelby. How are you? We're currently driving RUN8 V3 and we're experiencing some issues. But we're moving, so it's okay. Maybe it's found a different way to send me to Bakersfield. Could have, I guess. Does this way go to Bakersfield as well? Ah, did I put in BAR instead of BAK? Maybe it's sending me to Busto. That would kind of make some sense. Oh well. At least we'll get to go through Cahoon, so I can say Cahoon. Ah, the snow looks like RUN8 stuff. Everything looks weird in RUN8. It's just how it is. But it does get stuck on the windows at least. So, am I enjoying RUN8 so far? It's been a bit of a learning curve between 2 and 3. It's same but not. There's a bit more to it now. If you're used to 2, you'll be able to get in and drive, no problem. All of my sessions did not come across. The routes kind of did. And kind of didn't. We'll live. The loco does look nice, inside and out. Let's jump back onto the free fly camera, which is... Excuse me having to look up keys again, because some of the stuff's changed. And let's get into Ludicrous Speed, so we can watch. Alright, let's go ahead with... Let's get up ahead of it. And... Am I on that track? Oh, that one, good. It's all good. It's all good, no problem. Let's sit here and watch it. Horn carries for a distance, which is good. And I notice if I turn on the bell, can't hear that. That doesn't carry for a mile. That's also good. Our snow's disappeared too, hasn't it? Going to go back in the cab because I have to slow down rather a lot. But then I'll pop out again because we weren't very close to the train then, so we didn't hear the quite nice sounds. And this is our 40-mile board here. Now, back up to maintain speed. I messed that up just a little. Apologies. I was a bit eager on the slowdown. Alright, now let's pop out again. And let's just go and sit somewhere nice and close. Where we're going to be in the sun. This would be a nice spot here. Oops, we're out of the world. Still out of the world. There we go. We'll just sit here and we'll just listen to it come past. Because the visuals in Run 8, they've got shadows now, but not much else seems to have changed. But the audio in Run 8 has always been the big thing. So I'll be quiet until the train has passed. So that is pretty cool.
BNSS detector milepost 66.5, main 1, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
Did you notice something there? Oops, no, we're not there. Need to get up here. Quick, 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 quick. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Damn it, I'm walking. Hopefully we'll see it. The gates open and close. That's new. They actually work. That was a weird way into the cab via a mountain. Stop being. I think we eventually end up there. But we're going around the curves. And we're currently approaching Cahoon. So
I thought they always worked.
I don't think they've always flashed, but I'm pretty sure the gates were just down and stayed that way in 1 and 2. How do I turn the wipers off? Skip feet? No. Probably? No. Oh well, we'll just put up with them even though it's sunny. At least they're not noisy. No, the sounds in Run 8, they just make me happy, to be honest. Because they're so realistic. Doesn't matter what kind of train it is, it sounds good. And I wish that was the case in all train games. These guys have put some serious effort into the sound. And I shouldn't denigrate their scenery too much either, because just making the world like this, it wouldn't be an easy thing to do, and they built their own engine, which is pretty cool. And I get the impression that it used to be a team of people, but these days I think it's the one guy that makes the core game, and there's another guy over on the other coast that makes East Coast routes for it. So there's A-Line who makes that stuff, and there's Run 8 Studios, which makes the stuff on the West Coast and the core game. Let's see if we can read this sign. Cahoon, yes. So we're definitely Not on the route that I thought we were going to take. But that's okay. And we are speeding a little bit. Let's just pop down a notch and let gravity take care of that. Let me just cycle through the HUD because I want to see what my train tag is. Because I thought I set it right. In San Bernardino to Bakersfield. So I don't quite understand why we're going where we're going, but that's okay. Ooh. We're taking a detour. Oh, I've played Derail Valley. I played it a long time ago. I think there's a new version of it coming out soon, isn't there, Shelby? So I'll probably grab that when the new one comes out. I've also heard that World of Subways are doing a new one. Trains has just released a new version, TRAINZ, and now running their 2022 version. That is officially out now. And Shelby's commented that TSW is the best one. I think it depends what you like to have. So TSW is certainly, I think, probably the most interesting of the train simulators. It's got graphics that are probably 80 to 90% of what you'd want. It's not photorealistic, but it's pretty good. Sound is reasonable in TSW. I wouldn't put it in a brilliant category, but reasonable. The train operations, the things that you can do, are pretty good. So you can shunt and couple and uncouple. There's lots of scenarios and services. Not being able to make your own scenarios is, well, you can make your own scenarios, but they're pretty bland sorts of things. You can't do complex stuff. Like, say, go to this place and pick up this car, and then go to this place and drop off these cars. Or go to this place, here's your switch list, do it any way you want, and marshal it up at the end. You can't do that sort of thing, which is a bit sad from my perspective. There is some positive signs that that's coming, which would be good. Now, RUN8, if you want a super realistic train experience from a physics and operational point of view, RUN8 is by far the best. It is, in my books, the only one that is all the way there as a simulator. So if it happens in reality, it happens in RUN8. In TSW, they're probably 75% of the way to being a simulator, but they're still catering to the big game crowd, and they always will, because that's their market. I kind of expect that the vast, or the greatest percentage of players, I should say, being that something around 70% of their players are now on console, they're going to be gamer people, not simulator people. And that's fine. If they can cater to both markets, good on them. And I think at the moment they certainly are. There's talk in that game of having potentially different modes of play, like an easy mode and the normal mode, which is what we've got today, and maybe even a harder mode. And I'd love it if that came to fruition, because that would take it to the next level. Yeah, we get to play with mods, Shelby. Shelby goes, thank God for mods. But console players don't have that luxury yet. Although with Creators Club, they're not mods, but at least they'll be able to share liveries, and PC people and console people will be able to share, which would be really nice. That'd be a very cool thing for everybody to be able to get into. So if you're not making any liveries, if it's never interested you, it never really interested me. I fiddled with it and played with it. but never got really into it. But now that you can share stuff, I'm interested. So I've started working out some plans for stuff. So we have 0 Australian content in TSW, for example, or this game for that matter. So making some Australian liveries so at least you can pretend would be interesting. A lot of our railway system, the older stuff, looks very British. And the modern stuff looks very American or very German, depending on which of the track authorities bought the stuff. So our locomotives are predominantly EMD, GE, Alstom, Siemens, all their modern stuff. So it's, you know, the same locos would actually work in Australia. I wish I could turn these wipers off. They're kind of giving me the shits a little bit. Maybe we should make it rain or something. Let's go for a storm. I don't know how quickly that takes effect. I've told it I want a storm. We'll see what happens. Well, there's rain in my mirror. Nowhere else, though. I don't know what these things are. I'm going to go and look at that thing on the ground. Yes and no on the brand names, Shelby. They've been careful in what they say. So I think it's a bit like YouTube. With YouTube, you officially can't upload someone else's video and you can't clip other people's videos, but they do actually give you the tools to do it. I'm kind of curious what this thing is. The answer is I don't know. It's a strange looking thing. Could be a track detector, I suppose. It's possible. Oop, grade crossing. It's a baby grade crossing. And you'd think out in the middle of the desert no one would see you if you didn't horn for the grade crossing, but they would have. Who will? Ah, we are fast approaching summit. Coming up to where the freeway crosses us, I think. So Sam and Matt have both said read between the lines in what they're telling you. So if no,
It's probably an axle greaser.
yeah, it could be. I think if no one's if no one's complained about your livery, you can probably keep it. Hey, those shadows in the pylons are nice. That's cool. I get excited by the tiniest things. There's our other main line off on the left there. Only PC people can share at the moment, Shelby. And that is 20% of the players now. 20-25%. The game's gone quite huge on console. Not this one, obviously. We're still talking about TSW. This one is limited to PC. I think after the stream I'll scoot along in Google Maps and see if I can find one of those things, because a real one might be easier to figure out what it is. I just need one near a grade crossing. Ah yes, RUN8 tunnels. They don't have roofs or walls. are actually allowed to go a little bit faster here.
Oh, that would need fixing.
Yeah, the weather needs fixing too, because, you know, it's not doing what I've asked for. Let's go back to auto. See if it can do anything. Now we're just in the sunny desert again with our windscreen wipers running, because we don't know how to turn them off. Actually, let me search the... No, there is no mention of wiper in the key bindings file. That's handy. I think I found the V key to turn them on Reddit, of all places. Now, we're definitely out in the high desert now, but it's very cold, so we don't have to worry about our locos overheating. That was a bit weird in the lighting. Over there. I get the impression the game actually thinks it's raining, because up on this window there's some water streaming past, but there's nothing on the front window. And we seem to have some snow building up. We were down there before, where those cars are. We're going loopy. Routed us on the easy track through here. This one's only 2.2%. The other one, the line we keep seeing, is 3.4. 33 Fahrenheit, so that's nearly 0 degrees Celsius. It's very close. So are they red lights on the top of wind towers, or are they signals all the way up there, do you reckon? Or are they on... No, they're on top of electricity pylons, I think. I think we can just see that. We got the wrong headlights on, I think. Yeah, we've got the long hood headlights on. And we've somehow gotten into notch 8 all of a sudden. Thanks, rail driver. So we join back up with the other main that's so steep. Coming up on our right here. We are going just a little bit quick at the moment. Oh, and our grade's coming right off. So we have reached summit, I guess. And we're going to start going downhill. So I do kind of need to get this back under control a little bit. Because I'll be going into dynamics shortly, since we've reached summit on our way to Martinez. So speed here, 55. Huh. Well, I don't have to slow down so much then. I thought it started going downhill here, but maybe it goes flat. So if I bring this back in, still pretty empty in the trains department. We have 4 running at the moment. Just them. So there's a UP heading into Barstow. There's a BNSF, which is heading into Pigzar. Or Pisgar. It's a strange name, isn't it? And we've got a UP that's fast approaching Sanborn and is going to join the main. Actually, no, it's on the main, so it's heading towards Sanborn. Hasn't been routed through yet, though, so it's slowing down. And we've got us heading towards Martinez. So it's actually a platform at Victorville, so we might stop there just for the hell of it. And we could potentially go and pounce on one of those freight trains and take it over, I suppose. And of course I am now speeding a bit. Well, yeah, it's only a bit. It's okay. And I'm picking up speed, so we are starting to go down. So let's get into setup for the dynamics. I think I'm just going to apply a little bit of loco and a little bit of train brake, and I'll bail that off. A little bit more train brake and bail it off the locos again. The reason I bail off the locos is so that the dynamics actually work. Because if you're not bailed off in the locos, they will cut out. Alright, now I can get down to about 48, and then I'll release the train brake. There you go. Now that'll give the dynamics a chance to actually hold it. Probably need a bit more dynamic, I think. But it'll be hard to judge at the moment because the train brake will still be releasing. Too much. My train's too light and the dynamics on these locos are just too powerful. They're made for a much bigger train. Now we're holding okay. So if you're watching the displays, let me just zoom in on this one. One of the things you want to watch for is your acceleration. So we're starting to pick up some speed again. So I think that's 3 miles an hour per minute is what we'll pick up, which is okay because I'm allowed to go up to 50 mile an hour here. And currently we're in notch 1 of dynamic brakes.
Detector, milepost 52.5, main 1, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
And we are generating 12,000 pounds of effort. And it is literally generating because it's coming from the traction motors on the wheels into the giant resistor grids on top of the train. Actually, thinking of that, who's seen how popular the new GE electric locomotives are? Looks like everybody's ordering them. Some are ordering them for mainline operations, and some are ordering them for rail yard operations. So when they're in dynamics, they'll be charging their batteries. Be a pretty impressive battery to be able to put that much power into it. Russian spammers. Bye-bye, Russian spammer. kilometer. Well, RUN8 routes are interesting, Shelby, because they join together. So if you look at this in its entirety, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of just this one. So there's rather a lot. So it's actually hard to answer that question because it's a lot. This is a lot of Southern California, and it goes into Arizona. Just gotta find the right screen now so I can get my bloody dispatch screen back. There we go. And in that effort there, I was picking up some speed, so we need to get back under control. The dynamics sound very nice in RUN8. Let's jump out of the cab. Is that gonna work? Yeah, that's slowing down enough. So let's just go back into free fly. And let's go ahead and listen to the train come past with dynamics on. We might want to be in the world though. This will do. Expect complexity, Shelby. It's a bit of a challenge. I think I would give, and see what happens when you go out of the cab in this thing. It bites you. I would think that I would give version 3 a few weeks to settle in. So setting up for the stream, for example, I was actually struggling to get it to draw the track. Which would reduce your happiness factor just a little bit. And because it is realistic, you need to be a bit careful about whether you're going to enjoy RUN8 or not. So if you know something about driving trains and you think you could cope with a level of realism, then you'll love RUN8. If you don't know much about driving trains, there's no easy mode. Actually, it's not quite true, but even the easy mode's pretty realistic. There's Foamer, Piglet, and Hogger are the 3 different modes. You can get it, I think you can download it for about 10 days or I think 11 hours of playtime for free. I'm pretty sure. Used to be able to anyway. I'm kind of hoping you still can. So you can download the thing and run it without licensing it to try it. So I'd certainly suggest doing that.
Milepost 48.3, main 1, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
I actually crossed tracks up here somewhere, but can't remember if you have to slow down for it or not. But I want to start slowing down anyway because I want to stop in Victoryville. Then we might relinquish this one and go and take over one of these freight trains that's cruising along somewhere. Just jump into free fly. And let's go and have a look. How far away are we? So that's Hespera. Just hope the alerter doesn't go off while I'm out of the cab. We'll come back and it'll be dead. We have a while to go before we get to Victoryville. What's the speed on that curve? 45. There's the crossing. And somewhere up here should be Victoryville. That'd be here. This would be Victoryville. It probably won't put us in that platform, but we'll see. Get closer to my train. Okay. We went too far away. Where are you, train? Hope I'm going the right way. Help, help, I've lost my train. There he is. Whew, no alerter. Coming through the little town of Hespera. Tiny town. Of course. A car dealer with a restaurant in it.
Probably stopped dead too. Oh, that's still going.
Yeah, still going, fortunately. This is the Sage Motel. As distinct from the Bates Motel, which is slightly creepier than the Sage Motel. Ha, just in time. I suspect if I'd left that any longer that, yes, we would have been just sitting somewhere. You can totally destroy your engine in Run 8 and have to tow it dead from then on. There are many bad things that can happen to you in 1.8. We're not going to overheat an engine today because it's almost 0 Celsius. But if you're running in summer and your horsepower per tonne's on the verge of being not enough, you can certainly overheat things. And it does happen randomly too. Your locos can actually break down. I don't think I've ever actually had that happen to me when I'm playing the game, so we'll see if V3 makes that more often. Now, I'd love to say on real railways it's not that common, but I know quite a lot of train drivers, or engineers as they're called in America, and it is that common. We can go a bit faster. Let's let gravity do the work for us. You can see our acceleration rates whipping around a bit there. I think what's harder in what's harder than Derail Valley in this game is that it takes a long time to travel a mile. So the amount of time that you will spend in this game if you are doing a full shift is exactly that. If you're doing an 8, 9, 10 hour run, then that's how long it takes. A lot of other train games just aren't like that, really.
BNSS detector, milepost 42.6, main 1, ambient temperature 32 degrees.
And the other thing that's quite different in Run 8 from the other games is when you apply a change to your controls, apply it, let it settle, wait and see what it does. So I've gone up a notch on the dynamic braking here. I have a feeling I need to go another one because my acceleration is still positive. And I'm sitting right on the speed limit at the moment. But I've just given it a little while to settle in and do its thing. And it's still sitting on positive acceleration. So what I mean by that is looking at the right hand display here. So I've grabbed B2 and I'm still accelerating, so I'm going to take another notch on the dynamics. There we go. That's going to slow us down. And the dynamics, it's this handle here that we're looking at. So we've got dynamic brake handle, power throttle, and our reverser down there. And B3 is really too much. B3 is slowing me down, so I'm going to have to go back and forth all the time between 2 and 3. Just to maintain my speed where it should be. And that's quite realistic. You're not too likely to set on one setting on a notch to control, and it's going to be perfect for you. Well, we're going to see another train soon. I can tell that because this one's coming on the dispatcher. So that's kind of cool. And we're almost at the point where we cross over our own track. And I'm going to take another notch because we have to be doing 45 through there because it's a fairly tight curve. And even if you weren't watching the dispatch screen, you'll notice this signal on the right is now yellow on the right track. That's the other clue that there's a train coming on the other track. In fact, the external dispatch program actually thinks we're slightly ahead of where we really are, so it must need an update to work with V3. We have slowed enough, so when it gets to 44, I'll go back to notch 2 on the dynamic. There we go, back to notch 2. And that should get us back to more or less equilibrium. I'm just looking at the dispatcher, and I don't think it'll get to the crossover point soon enough that we'll see it actually go over the top of us, but because I think we're going to beat it there by a long way. Unless I stop under the crossover and wait for it, but I don't think so. I want to stop at East Victoryville. Next week I'll be doing some Steam on Train Simulator 2022. I was kind of hoping to run the same locos that are coming out in TSW2. I did find an implementation of one of them, but it seems to be a little bit buggy, or I'm just simply not patient enough with it because it's one of those complex to drive ones, and I have to admit I couldn't actually get it to move, so I gave up on it. And I haven't found the other one as yet. But there will be fish fans. Definitely. Need fish fans. And it will be one of the prettier routes in TS as well. We're going to go back to the 1950s.
Just don't pull a mat and dump the fish fans into the water.
It is that route. It is the Riviera route. I need to go trawling back through his videos, no pun intended there, and actually find that one because I think it was recorded. We're in Frost. I think it was recorded because I'd love to run the same scenario, to be honest. Like, that would be funny.
DNSS detector.
No one will let him live that down.
0.7.
No.
Ambient temperature 31 degrees.
It's weird that the detector's never telling me my axle count or anything. I'm sure they used to. Now, according to the external dispatcher, I am now in East Victoryville, but not yet. We have a new speed sign coming up. 45 for us, so that's fine. But I want to keep slowing down because we are near East Victoryville.
It's not even telling you if you got a defect or not.
Yes. Now, it's slightly sad as an Amtrak train that Otto didn't route me into the platform. Because Pretty sure that's it just up there. And we're going to be stopping on the main. Because that's a good thing to do. So, sorry about not stopping in the platform, ladies and gentlemen, but Otto was not our friend. But Otto didn't even route us to the right point, assuming I got the train tags right. That's nice. It stops when you do.
I think I found it.
The scenario? Ah, good. Ping it to me in our chat. Please. Either a link to the video or the name of the scenario. Link to the video would be good too. I haven't watched it for ages. Why did we go up there? Aha, that's better. So we can have a bit of a look around Victoryville. So, greetings, strange, chunky people. Doesn't it remind you kind of Minecraft with faces? It's like someone says, what's the minimum possible effort we can spend on making humans? That man has the creepiest eyes. It's like zombie dude. We're just having a bit of a look around Victoryville while we're waiting for this other train to come. Trying to get run over. Safe.
This is something I still can't get.
I seem to have a torch on. Well, a flashlight for any Americans that are watching. But I can't see a key that turns it on and off. Ah. Because, of course, we're driving an Amtrak train and they stop forever. Don't know if you've ever ridden one, but they do stop a lot. I assume that bloop was you there, Michael. So, obviously, these guys have issues with branded content as well. Although Denny's is real, up on the billboard. But they have a 67, and I'm pretty sure that's 76, that brand. And they have Bradex, which is, I assume, FedEx.
Yep.
So it's slightly weird that the billboards is right. Oh well. Maybe they got a deal with Denny's. And they got a free lunch for pushing them in the game. The other train is still working its way towards us, but I think we might take ours out of here now. We'll meet it on the route. So what say you, chat? Do we continue on with our Amtrak train, or do we relinquish it and try and take over a freight train? Run. Actually, you know what?
They got Chevron gas stations in the game. I'm just watching the other stream and I just saw one come up.
I have just answered my own question. That train's probably going to leave in a moment. Let's AI recrew that and let it leave. And we'll watch the other train come in because that's pretty soon, because we are going to go and jump on UP5292. Oh, I forgot the AI's honk horns in this. Don't you wish that was in other train games? Yes. It's not quite as clever as a human because they're actually allowed to do a one long hoot when they're doing that.
Uh-huh.
And the reason that we're going to jump on UP5292 after we see 5393 come through here... Actually, you know what? You know, I was putting all that crap on the automatic dispatcher. I actually think it is routing it to the right place. It just went a different way. I was just looking at it on the map and I've just realised it actually is going to the right place. But we're going to get there first. And that's okay. So we've got another train that's... Oh, we might go and find it, actually. Let's jump into free fly. I assume we can do this when we're not in a train. Yep. I can fly. Look, Wendy, I can fly. Let's go into ludicrous speed. Let's go and find this other freight train wherever it is. And then we'll go and take over the UP train. And the reason I want to take over the UP train is it's about to go through to Chappie. Bridge. Always like a bridge. Where is this train? Out of the world. Wow, I'm glad I didn't just sit there waiting for it. Might have been a while. Nice loading facility. And another. Wow, this train must be a long way away. Bit of a storm cloud brewing overhead here. Yep, definitely glad we didn't wait for this train. The tag's just come off the UP one. I hope it wasn't going to Cameron. Oh, there it is. That was cool. Alright. Now the other train I was going to jump to has vanished off the map. I can hear a train crossing running somewhere. Down there. So what we might have to do is go and take this one. I'm going to let it jump me to the train. No, it will not. Bum. Alright, let's try and figure out how to do this in this version. Train. No. Network menu. No, it's just when we're running the thing. How do I get my list of trains in this version? This is interesting. In the other version there was a way to do it. This one there does not seem to be. What about on the consist menu? Can I do that? Let's clear that. Let's say freight locos. There used to be a really easy way to do it. That's a bit sad. Alright, I shall do some brief Googling. Please hold. Your call is important to us. Ah, that train that disappeared is now going in the other direction. So it's gone to Cameron and it's reversed. And it's heading back towards Mojave. That's interesting. I suppose what I could just do is just put a train on. Just trying to figure out in this version to actually move to a place, because I can't see a way to bring up the map, which is what you used to use to click on to go to the place, which would be kind of handy. If I can just spawn a train somewhere and jump on it. Let's try that. So let's go for a freight loco. Let's go for some GP40s. Add those. We don't want one in RUN8 livery. Let's put in 5 different GP40s. I don't know why some of them are blue and some of them are black. Add. I know you really shouldn't do it this way, but you know, we're going to. Freight logos. Let's have a few more. Let's have some GP40s. Well, not that many. Well, 3, 2. Put them on the back. All right. So if I don't want to place it here though. No, that doesn't let me do that. That's not what I want to do. Let's delete that one. Place the train, but I don't want to put it here. I'll put it somewhere else. Back to Googling. Or using their... That's funny, that train's moving around based on me moving around in the thing. Where's my folder? There it is. I apologise for this. They've changed how to move around and it's kind of annoying. is the thing I want. Menu options, renumbering locomotives. Okay, there we go. And I want to go, can I go here? Can I go there? No, that's just changed the map. It's not really what I want to do. Well, this is really sad. But there is a train there. How do I go to that one? Epic the 112 asked if there was a Sherman Hill Run 8 version and Dovetail Games Train Sim World 2 and a TS 2022 version. Which one would you actually take? You're on the Xbox. You've only got one choice, and that's TSW2, because Run 8 and Train Simulator are not available for Xbox. Oh, more Russian spam. Yay. Just what I always wanted. Excuse me while I
Click
report
on
this
it
person.
on the map, I guess.
That's what I was trying to do, but it's there's no right click. They've changed how this works. It's kind of sad. Let's have a look at the dispatch thing. Auto DS. Where's the dispatch screen? Phase menu options. Because you did used to just right click and say go here, and it did. That obviously doesn't work anymore. And you used to be able to just take over the train too that way. And I don't seem to be able to do that in the external dispatcher or the internal one, which is really annoying because I can stop that train and I can relinquish it when it's stopped. Can I change it to being an AI player? So it's got no player on it. Now how do I get to it? Come on, there's got to be a way to do this. I love that there's cricket noises right now. It's kind of appropriate. I wonder, can I? No, I can't do it from here. I could spawn a train that's supposed to go there, but that's not that useful. And I can't do it from here. Or can I? Because that's Summit. Maybe I can do it. Actually, no, we were in the Cajon sub before, so that's not good. Harvey. I'm at a loss, folks. And I also told this UP train to stop, and it's refusing to. That's this one here. Because I told it to stop, and I told it to relinquish, and it has not done either. I'm very sad now. Kind of is time, but it's a sad way to end the stream. Let's go find that freight train. Let's just take this one over. I wanted to go through Techahappy Pass, but I cannot. Hey, there's our train. Bye-bye, train. He came a long way in a short time, or was I messing around for that long? It's getting dark. The fun bit of once we catch this train will be actually managing to click on the loco so I can take it. Is that industry? Ah, he's going pretty slow. This is good. There's the head end. Ha! Stop. Relinquish when stopped. Stop. Now hopefully I can take him over. Aha! Okay, so he's now my train. Let's just get him set back up properly. We've got short hood lead. We're starting to roll backwards because we have no brakes on. It's a MOG WC22. Alright, let's get in the cab and start going with this one. Let's just get some loco brake on and just let this settle down because I am on a gradient. Because if I try and start while the back of the train's rolling, bad things are going to happen. Let's just let it stretch out. So you can see there's a bit of stress. This yellow block is some stress on the couplers. I think we'll be okay to notch up now. Building some power. Beautiful. We are pretty big. 11,000 American tons. So 6,000 real people tons. Alright. That's a bit quiet. Just because it's a snowstorm, let's open the window, because you can. We have a yellow signal. Yeah, got a red one coming up too. So let us request an authority. We have an authority. So our signals should start to change, but they haven't yet. So let's request the signal. And we have just been routed through, so I probably should have shown you this on here. We had a red signal just under where our train is, which is the green block in the bottom right hand corner that is travelling to the left, UP5393. And when I asked for it to set the signal, it's given us through Victoryville again and heading back out the other way now. Actually, what I might do, just actually I can't show both on the screen at the same time. Let's get some speed. It's been very quiet. This display tells me it's throttling up and making power, and it's getting faster, but it doesn't sound like it is. Quiet locomotives. Maybe I should have taken over some window breakers. Does that help Epic the 112? Hopefully it does. If you read about the Sherman Hill route, you'll read about that it has some frame rate niggles. I wouldn't be too concerned about that because it's quite playable. Ah, bridge. Seemed necessary.
I didn't really see an issue with the frame rates in Sherman Hill.
Yeah, a lot of people do have frame rate issues with Sherman Hill, but it's only in places. Most of the things pretty cool. If you stay in the cab, you probably won't experience any frame rate issues at all with Sherman Hill. But if you're prone to jumping out of the cab and wandering around like I am, you may find it. What you should expect on Sherman Hill Epic, the 112, is that the braking is fairly realistic. It does take a little bit of getting used to. And whenever you start a scenario or a service, you'll find that you have to pump up the brakes from flat, which isn't quite realistic because you wouldn't actually leave a train sitting on the summit, for example, of Sherman Hill with no air in the brake pipe whatsoever. It just wouldn't actually work that way. And our Dovetail friends are aware of that, so hopefully in a future update you'll come into the train and it'll be configured a bit differently. But for now, you'll have to spend about 8 to 10 minutes pumping up the brakes. So generally I start the service and apply the locomotive brake full, set the rest of the loco up, release the train brake after cutting it in, and go and make a cup of coffee. Wander around there.
Don't, just roll away.
Oh. It won't roll away if you've got the independent on. Independent will hold it. And if you're really worried about that, you can release the brake and pop it into notch 2. Because notch 2 won't be able to move it on the summit, but it'll hold it. Coming back through that nice looking industry. It's quite nice at night time. I think this was a good call, jumping on this train, even though it was the only one we could jump on, so it was our only choice. It was a great call. It was like I planned it. Because now we're coming to see some of this stuff at night time, in a snowstorm. Oh, we are going uphill. I was wondering why we're slowing down so much, and I looked at the gradient and went, yeah, full, it's uphill. So we shall gently power up. Because this one is a long train. Now, 11,000 American tons. Each metric ton being approximately, very approximately, 1/2 of a metric ton. So if we don't power up gently, we'll break it. Just get that coupler HUD up again. We're doing fine so far. Yellows, whites and greens, all good. This has changed in this version actually. It's I think a little bit more intuitive than the old version of it. So we are accelerating again now, so we can pop another notch on. Whoops, not 2, 1. Just, yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Broke my DPU. Right then. Let's just have a quick look in that folder full of user guides and fixing problems. I thought I saw a thing for that. Maybe I didn't. It's one for derailments. Oh, the TPU error's gone away. Good. It went away by itself. I'm happy. It's a police car going straight through the crossing. As you do. Let's see what this would look like to our passengers standing on the platform here. Oh, we're in a truck. Oh, that's the other thing that's in V3 that's better than V2. V3, most of the cars and the locomotives are branded coming with it. You can still buy more, but the majority of them are actually branded, and I really appreciate that. I didn't like having to buy all this extra DLC just to get branded stuff, because they were just skins. think I can see our last loco coming.
Must have taken feedback from other players about that.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. So I think it's still $50 US for the game, but I think it's a lot better value than it used to be.
Detector Welch 37.7 main on ambient temperature 31 degrees.
Yeah, it's still 50. I just checked.
Yeah, it is 50. Having just bought it, very much so. I'm going a little bit fast. Let's drop a notch. Not sure how far I'll take this one because we have gone about 9 minutes over time. That's okay. Keep going for a little while. Just trying to see if the other halves. Yep, other halves at work. Perfectly safe to keep on going. I was just looking out the window for our car. I wasn't sure if she was working today or not. I couldn't remember. And I did not see her leave. I'm losing quite a lot of speed now that I dropped that notch. Ah, we're up to a 1% gradient. That's probably why. I keep telling people you have to really pay attention in Run 8, and then I don't do it, and I look up and go, ah.
Are you sure she's left?
Well, the car's not there, so either she's at work or it's been stolen, one or the other. It wouldn't be the first time I've had a car stolen, but it is a little unusual. I used to have a station bomb that we lived in a fairly bad area in our first house together, and we used to have a station bomb that we would park out the front at home and keep our good car hidden away and drive it to the railway station and leave it parked there. And
She's gone and parked it around the corner and come back home.
maybe, I don't think so, but that car used to get stolen out of the station car park occasionally. We always somehow got it back. Never really wanted it back, but it always seemed to come home. I even once left it in the station with no fuel in it and came back that evening and it was sitting in the same spot, but it had fuel in it. And it's like, someone put fuel in this. They've used it all day and put fuel in it. Now that the alert is fired, let's... Modern locomotives are so quiet. We're working much harder in this train. I'm on 100% power, and we are maintaining our speed on a 1%, 1.5% gradient. Just going to mute us both while I try some camera work. Probably should have taken my head off that too. Just trying to think of a good way to do a promo video. I'll do it again without my head. The other thing I just noticed that's vaguely amusing is the headlights are on the wrong end of the train. Looks like... No, so they just don't work. That's okay. That'd be something to be nice to have fixed, to be able to see where you're going. RUN8 used to have fantastic headlights. Now they're suboptimal. Oh good, I am going out in the stream again. That's a good thing.
I wonder if the switch on the back is wrong.
Yeah, maybe, but if I go and jump in that loco, it'll take it over. At the moment it's set up as a DPU. Don't know about much for this train's future, because it's on maximum power and it's slowing down. It has no brakes on. Obviously the alerter only works when you're sitting in the chair. That's good. Where are we on a dispatcher? It's running us down into the 3.4% maximum gradient part of the line too, but that's going to be downhill, so that could get a little bit exciting. Because if we're struggling to maintain...
Typical, but yeah, good.
If we're struggling to maintain our uphill speed in Notch 8 on a 1.5% gradient, I think this is, maintaining our downhill speed with just the dynamics will be just a tad interesting. Because I'm just looking at the dispatcher. Let me bring him over onto the main screen again. So this is us here, UP 5393. And we are approaching Martinez. And then we're going to go on to the really steep part. So when we came up the hill, we came up through Baseline, Vermont, Keenbrook, Cahoon, Silverwood, etc. We came up mainline 1, which is 1.5%. And we're going to be going down main 2, which is 3.4%. At least for a short period. So that could just get a tad exciting. So I think we'll run down that part of the hill and we'll see how we go, because that could be fun. It's going to take us a little while to get there though. And it wasn't for the alerter, I'd run off for a little while, leave you talking to chair and have a nature break. But I think the alerter would probably stop the train. We're picking up speed again now, so our gradient must be coming off. Actually, that one did have everything I needed on it. This one will do. We have to reduce speed to 50 in 0.6 of a mile. Well, that's going to be a struggle from 25.4 to 50. We have DPU error popping up again and gone. No one else seems to be complaining about the headlights. Maybe it's unique to me. A lot of people are running it with reshade, apparently.
SS detector, milepost 48.3, main 2, ambient temperature 32 degrees.
And someone's made a skin of a steam engine for it. Oh well. Yeah, I can't find anybody else complaining about headlights. Is there some switch I haven't turned on somewhere, maybe? Haha! Happy! Headlights are on the wiper switch. No matter what I was doing on the keyboard, it was just turning them off. So the wiper switch for the rail driver has the headlights on it. That's interesting. Does that mean the headlight switch has got the wipers on it?
Now your wipers are on.
Yeah, I know.
I think the top one is the front and the bottom switch is rear.
Ah. Well, the rear one's off. But I could do without my wipers being on. But that's okay. Where are we? Lomo. Lugo. We've got a while to go yet before we get to our super steep bit, but at least we are picking up some speed. Couplers are okay, even though we're pulling pretty hard.
Because if you go to the thing for calibrating rail driver, you'll see it.
Yes. Gradient's going up. And they're slowing down again. We shouldn't be too far away from the Martinez passing siding. It should turn up on the right soon. And gradually making our way towards Summit. It's very imaginatively named, Summit. Shift V should stop the wipers, but it's not. That's okay. If you've just tuned into the stream, we are running RUN8. We are travelling uphill at the moment, almost at Martinez, and we will be going through Summit,
Sadly, I've got to
Silverwood,
go.
and Cajon.
Talk to you later.
Well, hopefully it's work, Michael, and hopefully it's a good thing. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend, mate, and thanks for the chat.
Yes and no.
Does that mean it's work and it's not paying work? Hopefully it doesn't. Alright, we shall hopefully see you next week, mate, and on the forums in the meantime. So, enjoy. Rest of you, hang around. Assuming there is any rest of you, I don't know. YouTube never quite tells me the truth. But I want to take this down the hill now because I think it's going to be fun. If we make it to Summit, because we are losing speed. Whoa. Oh, and I just worked out how to move to another place on the map. You go to a switch and hit the spacebar. Not going to do that now, but at least we know for next time. Still can't figure out how to turn my wipers off, which is a bit sad. And have I frozen on the stream? No, still moving. Still going. Still gradually climbing our way up. You see me looking off to the left all the time, or it might be the right in your case if it's backwards. I am just looking at the external dispatcher. And we should these signals should be the entrance to Martinez. Which means we go through this siding and then eventually get to Summit. I wonder if I can find some railroad chatter for us to listen to. We should have something around Bakersfield. Western zones. That one. Or that one. Let's try that one. Oops. There we go. Got some radio chatter now.
DNSS detector, milepost 52.5, main 2, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
I'll just pop a link in the chat. That's the railroad radio we're listening to, which is for Tehachapi, which isn't too far from where we are, so hopefully would cover the zone we're in. So I'm not sure if Shelby's still on, but you did ask earlier if you could break your locomotives, and I said at this temperatures you probably wouldn't. For quite a while there, we were pushing this thing over 1,000 amps, which I think is its maximum. So that would certainly warm it up. How did we end up with a menu on the screen? And it looks like in 2.9 miles we're going to start that gradient because we want to go down to 20 mile an hour, which is fine because we're kind of there already. Two miles to the summit. Which will be interesting. Have to manage our train over the top because it can't go into dynamics straight away because the rear of our train needs to push. Now in this game I'm not going to try and do it live on stream because it's not the most straightforward thing in the world to do, but in this game you can actually fence your DPUs. So I can have the mid-train DPU and the pusher on the back continuing to push while I start slowing down with the front ones. One and a half miles until we crest the summit. Looks like we are starting to reach the high point. And we are very fast starting to accelerate, so I'm just throttling back. I am going to do a small brake application while I go into dynamics and wait for them to set up, because we need to slow down for the start of this gradient. It caught me a little by surprise. I thought we had a little while to go for this, but we do not. Do another brake application. Actually, let's leave that. That's coming down quite nicely. Let's just leave that sitting on dynamic 1 with the small brake application. I'm going to release the train brakes now. Because by the time that charges up through the train, that should have brought us down to about the 20-mile-an-hour mark, which is what we need to be. And we're starting to go uphill again too. Let's just come back into setup now. Not what I wanted. I want setup. We've started to downgrade into here. How are our couplers going? forces are relatively good. We've got one red one sitting in the middle there, so hopefully we don't break that. Someone's under a bit of stress. Now, it's okay that we're still losing speed because we're going to come into a very steep part of the line. Couplers are okay. I'm going to come out of dynamics at this point, or we're going to stop. But I will have to keep an eye on it because we'll start speeding up again fairly quickly. We'll keep losing our DPUs, which would be unexciting on this gradient. We're only on a fairly slight gradient at the moment, but I'm expecting that to go to minus 3.5. .4 rather, which will be quite steep. Coming on dynamics because we are picking up speed rather quick, bringing it back into control now. Well, it was. I'm gonna have to do a brake application, bail that off on the loco. Because we are picking up speed pretty quick, which I don't want. I've got a light brake application and full dynamics on at the moment, so I'm just going to let that settle down. We are starting to lose some speed finally, which is good. Now we're picking it up again. Let's just let things settle. There's obviously some lash going backwards and forwards in the train. Let's just see what our couplers are doing. Ooh. Lots of yellow and orange. They are under a bit of stress back there at the moment, which isn't that surprising. Because we'd still have, at this point, probably a little bit of our train would be going uphill. And because I haven't fenced the DPUs, and I've just left them, they'll now be in dynamics as well, even that one on the back that's going uphill. So one half of the train's trying to pull down the hill and the other half's trying to pull it the other way. I think we are going to use some more normal brake. I'll bail off the loco again. That's why the brake cylinder keeps showing 0. Close to it. Because we are going way fast for this at the moment. Well, I am finally slowing down after applying rather a lot of brake.
DNSS detector, milepost 58.6, main 2.
And as you can tell, my couplers are rather unhappy at the moment. There's a lot of red going on in there. The rest of the train should be passing into the downhill stretch, so hopefully that'll calm down. We'll be okay and we won't break anything. Releasing the train brake now. That'll continue to slow down, but we'll just let that happen. Not much I can do about it anyway. My coupler pressure is evening out now, which is good, except that rogue. There we go, it looks quite healthy now. Now we are picking up speed again, so I'm going to do another light brake application now. And again. Just waiting to see what effect that has. Ah, it's Smokey the Bear.
BNSF detector milepost 58.6 main 2 no defect. Repeat, no defect. Total axle 468. Train speed 24 mph. Ambient temperature 33 degrees. Out.
Nope. It's escaping. Running at nearly double the track speed, but getting it back. Still doing double the track speed, but getting it back under control. Coming out of the super steep section. Once the back of our train passes that speed sign, I'll be allowed to be doing the speed that I'm currently doing. I'm just waiting for the flow to settle down before I go ahead and do another application. Although we seem to be managing the speed not too badly now anyway on just the dynamics. That may have been speaking just a little early then. But we seem to be doing okay, mostly. That's coming down again. So we've made it down off the seriously steep bit. We're cruising along. The flow came down to near zero, so I have done another light application. We're only slightly over the track speed now though, but we are picking up again. So I'll just wait and see what impact that light application has that I just made. Still bailed off on the locomotive. Looking promising. So I think I've mentioned before, when you're doing Run 8 and a real train, make a change to your settings and just wait and see what that does before you go ahead and make any more changes. So we're coping fine. We're back down under the track speed now. Once we get down to about 30 mile an hour, I'll release the brake again. So we're down under the track speed now. So I'm going to release that brake application now. I'll keep an eye on our flow.
6.5, main 2, ambient temperature 33 degrees.
While that's pumping up the rear of the train again. What I'm watching is this gauge. Just down on this gauge here, we've got our brake flow. And I'm watching this too, so we're starting to pick up speed again quite dramatically. I'm going to have to apply the brakes again, but I want to wait until that gets near zero before I do it. We've got a little bit to play with because our track speed's 35 and we're up to 33, and we're almost back down to zero down here, so we'll be able to safely apply again shortly. Very light application again. Bail off the loco. We are picking up speed rather dramatically, so I'm going to do another brake application. Again, bailing off the loco. I'm bailing off the loco so that the dynamic brakes stay effective and don't cut out. Speed's coming back down and looking ahead there. I see we have a green coming up. So it was certainly difficult to manage this down the really steep part of the line, but now we're in the normal bit. It's just juggling the brakes on and off. So you just need to keep your brake on long enough that you make an effective application so that when you release it, you're going slow enough that as you speed up, you won't go over track speed before you can safely apply it again. So I'm going to release now because we're getting back down near 20 mile an hour. And by the time this releases, we can crawl back up and it won't matter. Brakes have released right through the train now. You can see our speed is was starting to pick up a bit. Just interestingly, bringing the dispatcher over. You can see that the automatic dispatcher is actually managing a cross here, which is quite interesting. Good to see it can do that. Coming down on just the dynamics now. And we're maintaining speed fairly well. We are a long way under the track speed, but that's okay. Wonder if we can get some precipitation. Now that our gradients come down below 2, I'm just releasing the, or reducing the effect of the dynamics a bit. Because we're starting to slow down a bit too much. Even 20 was a bit low, really. Let this drift back up towards 30 and then I'll put some dynamic back into it because I think about B7 will probably hold it on this gradient. While we make our way back towards San Bernardino Yard. Doesn't seem to be anything coming out of San Bernardino, so we won't have any conflicting traffic to deal with. At least not at the moment. Gradient picked up a bit for a while there, so we picked up some additional speed that I didn't really want, but just seeing if the dynamics can bring that back under control themselves now that the gradients come down a bit again. It's looking like a no, so I'll do a very light brake application. We'll see what effect that has. Should start to bring it down, I think. Looks like it. We are now a bit over track speed. There we go, we're having an effect now. So we'll just leave that the way it is and let that bring it back down. That light application might be enough, might not. Our gradient's gone back up again. We are still having a negative mph/min effect, so I'll just let that sit for the moment. No defects. I wonder why it doesn't say that anymore. It used to. I suspect that San Bernardino we can see in the distance there. So we're nearly back home. Not too far. So what's this sign say? No trespassing. Fantastic. Let's do another light break. Dispatcher has just cleared me right through into San Bernardino, in fact. I'll just bring that over and show you. At the auto dispatcher, we're currently sitting in here between Vermont and Keenbrook, and the dispatcher's just cleared me through baseline into San Bernardino. Now, weirdly, it seems to be taking a freight into the Amtrak platform, but that's okay. Ah, Russian spammer. Hello, Russian spammer. Bye-bye, Russian spammer.
BNSS detector, milepost 73.5, main 2, ambient temperature 32 degrees.
Back under the track speed now, and we have snow. Let's release our train brake. And hopefully our flow will settle back down to 0 before we get back over 35 mile an hour again. You know you've made it in the streaming world when you attract Russian spammers. Passenger 50, freight 35. We are compliant at the moment, and I give it a light brake application because our flow had not reached 0, but it was close. That minimum application took a little while to actually start having an effect, but it certainly is, so it was worth waiting. Because we aren't far from San Bernardino, which is where we'll be finishing for today. Sounds exciting on the radio there. Sounds like they've had a train go into emergency and they've done the right thing and closed down the track it's on and the one next to it. Hopefully they've just blown a glad hand or something. Nothing more serious than that. We're about to come into block Ono, coming out of Cargill. Should see the sign for block Ono fairly soon. No defects on the detector. That might be our There's our block sign for Ono, O-N-O. It's taking us through the Amtrak platform into East B Yard, where it has us stopping at this point. The one in red doing 8 mile over the track speed is us. Because we're naughty. We're a log run. Speed is finally coming back down. Gradient's coming down too, down to 1.3 now. You may remember this freeway bridge from about 3.5 hours ago when we took the Amtrak train out through here. We're coming back into San Bernardino now. Pretty heavy traffic on the freeway there.
Want to let my speed come back up a bit. Get him all over. A little bit over speed for this curve, but the dynamics have got it and they're bringing it down. We've also come down onto a flat gradient now. Here comes the station. The bell's on. It's a bit strange to route a freight train through the Amtrak platform instead of the yard right beside it, but that's okay. Aerodynamics now too, because we're starting to go upgrade again. And we're coming into the yard where we're going to be stopping anyway. We are in San Bernardino Yard. So I will be stopping this train here and stopping the stream here as well. I'm just letting this drift down in speed before I do a brake application to stop us. I'll just quickly pop down to the back and just see if that's through the station yet. No, it's not. Fair while to go. Might even have to power up. Hello, Michael. Yep, still going. Welcome back, Michael. I've got the front half in San Bernardino Yard and I'm just waiting for the rest of it to get in. So if I pop down the back again... Oops, helps if I'm on the right focus. While you're away, Michael, on the real railroad radio, sounds like they had a derailment. Yeah, back's almost through the platform now, so... we shall be stopping very shortly. Now, back up the front. That's a good enough spot to stop right here. So I'll do a full suppression brake. Independent brake on as well. And into neutral. And lights to dim. Bit of wheel slip apparently. Bit dubious. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching and sticking with the stream for such a long one. Next week will be some steam on TS 2022. Thanks a lot. See you later. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.